I pay my solemn obeisance to all the viewers and listeners. I have been requested by one of the devotees Gayatri from Canada that I should make a video on Rasayana. So today I would give some light on Rasayana. This is a term made up of two words, ras and ayan. Ras means that which is very tasty and that which is the substance of anything. Means the gist of anything, the core of anything, that is the ras. Ayan means, again, two things. First, to transform, and second thing is to transform to a certain better direction. Not only transform, but to transform to a higher direction, higher dimension. Like we have Ramayana, means transforming towards Rama, Lord Rama, that is Ramayana. So here Rasayana means transforming towards rasa, means towards taste, towards the substance of anything, substance of health, substance of life, substance of total being. And the substance of total being is also called Parbrahm, Parameshwar. Means this whole existence which is infinite. This whole existence is also called Rasa. In Upanishad, it is said about Paramatma that it is Raso Veshaha. It means that Paramatma is the substance of all things. So the substance of all things are called rasa. So we should move towards that rasa. That is the theme of Rasayana. In many texts, it is written that what is taste? Rasna grahaya guno rasaha. Means that which could be perceived by our taste senses, by our tongue, and conjunction of tongue and interaction of tongue and mind. That is the rasa. It is not simply taste. It should be the interaction of mind and rasa means taste. And this interaction would take place among our physical existence, means matter, and energy, and ether, that is beyond energy, bhava, that is emotion, and super consciousness, which is called in Sanskrit Param Chaitanya. Consciousness, something different from Chetana, but near about it is in the meaning. In Chetana, we know the knowledge itself. And in consciousness, we know anything by knowledge. This is the main difference. So Chetana is higher dimension of consciousness. So Rasanandayoga, there is one yoga also, which is called Rasanandayoga. And this Rasanandayoga is the joint interaction, holistic interactions among all these things which I have mentioned here. And then we become a yogi, a Rasananda yogi. And we would realize, we would enter into super consciousness state. That is the Nirbija Samadhi, which is called Kevalya by sage Patanjali in Yoga Sutra. Kevalya means oneness. So by Rasananda Yoga, you would realize oneness by becoming infinite. So oneness with infinite existence. Oneness with infinity. That is the climax of Rasananda Yoga. So how you would reach that? That is a very complex matter of Rasananda Yoga, and the practitioner should do that yoga under the guidance of their spiritual guru who knows this. In Rasananda Yoga, basically, we should taste the mechanism of our taste buds and all the phenomenon and processes of realizing the taste itself. So whatever you would eat, you should eat with very high concentration, in a very meditative state. In very concentrative and meditative state, you would be able to know how that food is reacting with your body and how your body is reacting with that food. And how this phenomena goes on, and this gives a sensation in your mind. This gives an this gives a qualitative realization of matter, energy, and their interaction with our emotions, and how it is related with our health, and how it is related with our mind, that is consciousness, and how it is related with super consciousness. So for that, you have to eat, you have to chew, you have to taste in a very soothing way. You should not eat in very hurried manner. You should eat with very high concentrative state of mind, keeping in your mind the deep breathing, the deep breathing of lungs, deep beating of heart, and deep vibrations of our thought waves. you have to be very attentive, and then you would be able to realize the yoga. Yoga means the union, that which has been in a unified state, which we are thinking that they are in discrete state, but in fact they are in a united state. They are acting as one entity, but out of ignorance we are thinking that they are separate state, they are separate matter, they are separate entity. So we are separating them, we are making them, we are realizing them in a discrete patches, but that is not the thing. This whole existence is a one unit, and that one unit is, in fact, that one is not a digit. Here I am saying one as oneness, and this whole infinity works in coherence and in tandem. And with simultaneity and with congruency. So this is the Rasananda Yoga. So Rasananda Yoga means this, you would realize the bliss, you would realize the beatitude of yoga, and this is what is called Ananda, Rasananda. Means Ananda means very high degree of happiness, and that happiness could not be separated, could not be destroyed, could not be blocked by time factor, by space factor, by material factor. So this Rasananda Yoga is beyond time, space and matter. Then and there it would be called yoga. All yogas, whether Rasananda Yoga, whether Mantra Yoga, Tantra Yoga, Yantra Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, all yogas is said to be complete only when we transcend these three dimensions of space, time and matter. Anyway, now we should talk on Rasananda Yoga on basic level, starting level. So after the definition and Rasananda Yoga, now I would like to give you some basic information about this rasa in the realm of Ayurveda. Ayurveda says that though there are 63 types of tastes, but basically there are 6 types of tastes. One is sour, other is astringent, pungent, bitter, salt, sweet. So these 6 tastes are what we human realize. So Ayurveda also develops a unique style of treating a patient, diagnosing a patient and treating them just by manipulating just by regulating the taste of the food. Means by realizing what you are eating and what symptoms you are developing by eating those things, and what type of taste you are lacking. You are falling in deficiency of those things. By covering, by recuperating those things, you could maintain your health. So, Ayurveda says that all these six basic tastes, they are made of they are composed of elements: fire, water, earth, air, and sky elements. So these five elements, they are the basic constituents of these six tastes. So the sweet taste is composed of, according to Ayurveda, it is composed of water and earth material element, water and earth element. And sour is composed of earth and fire element. And salt is composed of water and fire element. And pungent is because of the combination of air and fire element. And bitter is composed of air and sky element. And astringent is composed of air and earth element. So these elements, they unite to make these tastes. And this sweet taste, in Ayurveda, diseases are said to be caused by three basic elements: Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Vata means when air in basic sense, I am saying this, not exact sense, in layman sense. Vata means air-borne diseases. Pitta means fire-borne diseases. And Kapha means earth and water-borne diseases. So, Vata means air and sky, you can say sky also. So sky element also. So this sweet, when you eat sweet, what would increase in your body? According to Ayurveda, Vata and Pitta would increase. Would decrease. Vata and Pitta would decrease if you would eat sweets. And cough would increase. So if you have cough problem, you should not eat sweet. You should not eat sweet food. And if you have heat generating disease in your body, then sweet would help you. And if you have gaseous problems like arthritis, like gout, And pitta means disease like cancer, like typhoid fever, like blisters on your skin. These are because of pitta. So if you have this type of disease, you could decrease them by eating sweet. Similarly, there is a sour taste, and if you eat constantly, it means if you in your body, if you increase the sour content. Sour means acidic, means acidic food like tamarind, like raw unripened mango or lemon. These are sour food. So if you would increase the intake, it means you are increasing the acidic nature of your body. It means you are increasing fire element and earth element in your body. It means you are increasing pitta and kapha. Pitta and kapha would increase. But you would decrease vata. Means say if you have arthritis, gout problem, if you have this type of problem, that would be decreased to some amount. So this is good for those things. Now, if you are eating salty foods, if you are taking too much salt of too many varieties, common salt or black salt or any salt of any nature, minerals, those things are salty. And if you are taking salt in more than average amount, that means you are increasing pitta and kapha. So pitta and kapha would increase. It means the chances of cancer, the chances of cough, sinus, chances of asthma, bronchitis, pleurosis would increase. But this would increase pitta also, means temperature of your body would increase, heat would be generated. This would be good for those who are lazy, those who are sexually less aroused. For them, salty food and sour food are good, because salt and sour would increase those things. Hence, your sexual capacity would be increased by sour and salty food. If you take salty food, your vata would decrease. It means the disease of gout, arthritis, rheumatoids, they would be decreased. Now coming to the pungent taste, if you intake pungent taste more, then it would increase firepower within your body, and that would decrease the cough in your body. Hence it is good for asthma, cough, cold fever, influenza, but pitta and vata would increase. Means your temperature would increase, blisters and rashes would increase, your heartbeat would increase, your heart problem would increase, your blood pressure would increase. But it would be good for those who are suffering from anorexia, and for those who are lazy, who need sexual arousal, for those it is good. But it would increase the pain of your body. Means those who are suffering already from gout and arthritis, or who have gaseous problem, gastric problem, acidic problem, so those who are facing acidity problem and flare in the eyes, or if you have bleeding problem, that would be increased. That is not good for them. Now coming to I am just giving some introductions only. Detail is not possible in a single video. If your intake would increase in bitter taste, in pungent taste, what are the foods which would you categorize as pungent? Black pepper, ginger, these are the pungent. Chili, these are the pungent food. You better know this. Bitter, like bitter gourd, like Azadirachta indica, means neem. They are bitter in taste. So all those things which are bitter in taste, they would have air and sky matter in them, air and sky element. It means they would increase vata, but they would decrease pitta and kapha. Air and sky element jointly they would decrease. Means bitter taste would decrease pitta and kapha. Means if you have cancerous problem, if you are suffering from high BP and blisters and bruises, rashes, so are rashes, so hypertension, so you could eat these things. Those who are suffering from burning sensation, excessive sweating, they could take bitter food. And those who are suffering from cough diseases, influenza, asthma, bronchitis, pleurisy, sneezing, they could take food of bitter taste. And now coming finally to the astringent taste. Astringent taste like amla, imbalica, which is called imbalica in English, though amla is also an accepted word in English also today. So amla is astringent, and the elements are air and earth. So if you intake astringent taste, also this babul, acacia, and betel nut, pomegranate, they all belong to astringent taste. So these types of food, they would increase your vata. And say if you have got problem, if you have any painful problem in your body, you should not eat. If you are suffering from gout or rheumatitis or excessive thinking, excessive dreaming, you should not take astringent food. But if you are suffering from cancer or any burning sensation or any fever, you could take astringent food. This astringent food will decrease your fever. And all the cough problems, all the diseases belong to the category of kapha. According to Ayurveda, they could be treated by astringent food. So by the combination of these 6 foods, you could make yourself healthy without taking any medicine. These things, these 6 type of tastes, by manipulating these things in your kitchen itself, you could keep your health better. You can free yourself. You can free yourself in the sense of taking allopathic medicines or for say homeopathic medicine. All the medicines, if you, whether those medicines belong to allopathic or homeopathic or Ayurvedic or Unani, all these medicines, if you taste them, you would definitely note that these medicines are generally, they are of either bitter taste or astringent taste, or mostly these 2 tastes, bitter taste and astringent taste. Why? The question arises, why? It is because generally we take only 4 types of food in our daily routine. We take salty food, sweet, sour, and pungent. So, whatever culinary we used to make, generally we prepare our food within the purview of these 4 tastes, within the limitation of these 4 tastes. This is why we fall deficient of 2 tastes, that is bitter and astringent. And this is the reason why all the medicines of any category, all those medicines belong to bitter or astringent taste. Very rarely we fall short of pungent taste. So by adjusting our food, we could make ourselves healthy. In the next video, because this video is already more than 35 minutes, so I would make another video so that the leftover things could be dealt with, and I hope you would like this video, and all the leftover things would be dealt in the next video, and keep remain in touch. And you have listened very patiently. For that thing, I am paying my thankful address to you. Om Hari.